The roar of fighter jets echoes across the skies of Luzon. Down below, radar towers light up the Philippine coastline, scanning the horizon for anything that moves. Something big is changing, and this time, Manila is not standing alone. Welcome to GeoFrontline, where we break down the battles shaping the world's balance of power. For decades, the Philippines was seen as the soft spot in the Pacific, a nation sitting on one of the most strategic crossroads of the world, yet underprepared to defend it. But now, the skies are rumbling with a new message. The Philippines is finally arming itself. And the world's most powerful ally, the United States, is standing shoulder to shoulder in that transformation. Recent joint Philippine-U.S. air patrols have sent shockwaves through the Indo-Pacific. Flying over contested waters, these missions mark a historic shift, a visible warning that the era of unchecked Chinese intimidation in the West Philippine Sea might be ending. For years, Chinese aircraft flew dangerously close to Philippine planes. Coast Guard ships shadowed Filipino patrols. Fishermen were harassed, waters were blocked, and the map of the South China Sea was slowly redrawn through fear. But the new alliance response has changed the game. Joint air patrols, coastal defense upgrades, and strategic bases expanding across the archipelago. Let's start from the skies. The Philippine Air Force, once limited to aging planes, now flies in coordination with US F-16s, P-8 Poseidon surveillance aircraft, and reconnaissance drones. These joint missions aren't just about visibility, they're about credibility. Every flight sends a message to Beijing. The Philippines is no longer alone in defending its skies. And the timing couldn't be more critical. China has increased its presence around Scarborough Shoal, the Spratlys, and near Palawan. Their new artificial islands bristle with radar systems and long-range missiles, giving Beijing a military advantage in the heart of the South China Sea. But now, American and Filipino aircraft are watching every move, tracking every ship, every drone, every attempt to control the airspace. But the air isn't the only frontier. On land, the Philippines is rapidly upgrading its coastal defense systems, a move that would have been unthinkable just 5 years ago. Under the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, EDCA, the U.S. is helping the Philippines build and modernize key military bases. From Cagayan and Isabela in the north to Palawan and Zambales in the west. These aren't just symbolic outposts, they're front lines of deterrence. Each site will soon host cutting-edge radar, anti-ship missile systems, and logistics hubs capable of supporting rapid U.S. deployment if a crisis erupts. And there's one weapon that has China especially worried: the Typhon missile system, capable of firing Tomahawks and SM-6 missiles. U.S. officials have confirmed the possibility of future joint exercises using these weapons in the Philippines, giving the archipelago an unprecedented reach in defending its territory. In Manila's strategic circles, this is being called the Great Reawakening. After decades of relying on diplomacy, the Philippines is now embracing deterrence, and the message is clear: peace through strength. Still, not everyone is happy. In Beijing, officials called the air patrols a provocation. State media warned that joint missions could escalate tensions. But what China calls provocation, the Philippines calls protection. For every Chinese vessel that shadows a Filipino patrol, there's now an allied aircraft, above watching, recording, and reminding Beijing that aggression has consequences. Let's look at the bigger picture. Why this matters not just for Manila, but for the world. The South China Sea is the artery of global trade. Trillions of dollars in goods pass through it every year. Whoever controls it, controls Asia's lifelines. That's why Washington, Tokyo, Canberra, and even London are backing Manila's new defense push. The Philippines is no longer a bystander. It's the new anchor of regional security. On the ground, coastal defense drills have intensified. The Philippine Marines, trained alongside U.S. and Japanese forces, now practice repelling amphibious landings and defending island chains. In Palawan, mobile missile launchers stand ready for the first time, while radar domes sweep the horizon for enemy aircraft. And in the air, every joint patrol builds confidence, interoperability, and experience, the backbone of any effective defense. Filipino pilots flying side by side with American squadrons are now gaining real-time combat and surveillance experience, a critical advantage in any future confrontation. But beyond weapons and strategy lies something deeper: national pride. For years, many Filipinos felt powerless as foreign ships trespassed and bullied their fishermen. But the sight of Philippine jets flying with the U.S. Air Force has reignited a sense of unity. It's more than defense, it's dignity. As one officer from Clark Air Base told reporters, "This is our sky, and we will defend it." Now, we have the means and the allies to do it. Even across social media, the sentiment is growing. Filipinos are no longer asking if the country can defend itself. They're saying it will. And that shift in confidence is something no enemy can easily defeat. Of course, challenges remain. The Philippines still faces budget limits, logistical gaps, and the sheer scale of China's military machine. But the direction is set. With new U.S. funding, Japanese security cooperation, and Australia's expanding role in joint exercises, the Philippines is becoming part of a regional defense network designed to keep the Indo-Pacific free and open. The world has noticed. American officials have called the Philippines a rising pillar of regional defense. Even NATO has expressed interest in stronger partnerships with Indo-Pacific nations. The message is unmistakable. Manila is no longer the weak link. It's the new strategic hub. And Beijing knows it. That's why China's Coast Guard has become more aggressive, firing water cannons, blocking routes, and flying dangerously close to Filipino planes. They want to intimidate before the balance shifts completely. But every act of aggression only pushes the Philippines closer to its allies, accelerating the very unity Beijing fears most. So, is Manila finally ready? The answer isn't just in radar towers or fighter jets. It's in the resolve of its people, the strength of its alliances, and the clarity of its mission. The Philippines is no longer just reacting. It's preparing, anticipating, and asserting. The joint air patrols are only the beginning of a broader transformation. One where the nation stands tall, the alliance grows stronger, and the message to any aggressor is crystal clear. The skies, the seas, and the shores of the Philippines will be defended. The world is watching this transformation unfold, from the jungles of Palawan to the skies above the West Philippine Sea. The echoes of those fighter jets aren't just sound, they're a statement. This is GeoFrontline, where the Philippines takes flight. Backed by its allies, guided by courage, and driven by one unshakable truth: sovereignty is not negotiable.